Hello everyone, Ben here with another vlog documenting the creation of The Wanderer's Post, a print-only magazine featuring fictional stories and art. In the last vlog, I was explaining how I was in the middle of creating our website and putting together the ideas behind our launch video. Now you should have seen in wherever you're watching this video that launch video is done and has gone out into the world. So the first thing I want to look at in this vlog is the process of creating that launch video, the ideas as to why I needed one in the first place, and also the difficulties and challenges that I had to overcome to get it done. The idea for a launch video goes right back to the initial conversations I had with family and friends about creating a print-only magazine. It seemed that while many people were interested in the idea and would be willing to subscribe, there was some confusion about some of the content that would feature. Some people seemed to think that the magazine would be marketed at children. It would be designed for children, whereas of course their goal is to have a magazine that's there for all ages to read. Others seemed to think that when I spoke of stories, that actually I was meaning good news stories rather than fictional stories. And so I needed some way of clearly and memorably showing what the ideas and concepts behind the magazine were. That's problem number one. Problem number two was that I don't have a physical object that I can show you, and yet I'm asking people to subscribe to the magazine. I can't hold the magazine up in front of you. I can't show you what it looks like. I can't tell you how many of them are in stock because it's yet to be printed. And yet I'm asking people to spend their money on this magazine. Some random bloke on the internet asking for people to part with their money. We've all heard that story before. And so I needed some way of demonstrating to you that I was willing to put the time and effort and energy into creating this project, that I was committed to it, to seeing it through to the end. So that's why I decided I needed a launch video, animated from start to finish by myself. But there was just one major problem with that idea. I have never animated anything before. As far as I can remember, I've never animated anything in my life. I've drawn on and off throughout my whole life, but I've never actually animated anything. So for a few weeks, that's where it stood. It just became such a big problem, such a big project that I couldn't really face starting. And then I remembered the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? Well, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Apologize to those of you who, like me, love elephants and wouldn't want harm to come to any of them, but you get the idea. I needed to take the project and rather than looking at the whole thing, look at what I could do right now and get that done first and then do each step after that one at a time. So that's where I started writing a script. I could write some words, that was fine. Writing a script that I could read out during the video and then from there work out what the different pictures and images and animations would be to accompany that script. That was the idea. Started work on it one evening. Here's what that looked like.
When I say script, I mean something like this. This is the second version, actually, of the script. And it gave me a clear idea of what scenes and images I wanted to have in the animation. Yeah, and then the next thing I did is had a look at sketched out some scenes, 7 scenes in total. And then it was a case of doing my version of a storyboard, roughly sketching out in more detail what would happen in each scene. So here we have the giant mobile with the figure coming in from the left, pressing the big pause button to switch the beeping sound off. And then the figure goes back round to the other side of the mobile and looks out at the forest. And in the forest, there is a group of friends swapping short stories by a fireside. And then we get a image of the kind of stories that they're telling, so fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, slice of life. And then that scene becomes a picture that people are admiring in a gallery, people of all different ages. And then we transition to a magazine, the same scene in a magazine. Someone's being inspired by reading it in their daily life. And the magazine is coming through your letterbox, coming to you. Then we see a close-up of the magazine with some details about what is going to be in it. And then we have the end card with the website address and the bird flying across to emphasize the fact that there are early bird discounts on the website. And then I moved on to actually doing the animation, and this was quite painful to begin with, but I learned in the end one way of doing it. So there's all the layers on the left of the different layers of the picture. And here we have the different frames of the animation. So as we flick across at the different frames there, you can see that it sort of leaves a red mark of what's happened before, and then green as to what's going to happen, gives you some idea as you're drawing the pictures one by one. And you can probably tell that not everything made the cut in the end. There was a lot of ideas I had to leave out. There just wasn't enough time to do everything. And the little car going across the scene there. Yeah, and so this is another example. The end scene. It was a very steep learning curve. The first few evenings trying to put this together were quite stressful and quite frustrating, but we got there in the end, and I started to learn the way that I could do it with less pain, for want of a better phrase. And so the bird flies away off the screen, just drawing your eye to that area. Oh, missed a frame. And then we get the text fading in. Early bird discounts available now. Probably the early bird discounts will be available until sometime spring next year. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, frame was 24 frames a second. That's what I used.
And there you have it. Our launch video has gone out into the world and is available to watch wherever you're watching this video. And I've finally got my evenings back. So what's next? Where are we at with the project? Well, I have been finally able to send out the very first email newsletter. If you want to receive the next one, it's free. Simply go to our website, wandererspost.com, and fill in the little form on there. You just have to put your email address in the form, and the next one will go out to you. Also, we're now open to submissions for short stories and artwork for the first magazine that will be shipping summer 2025. So if you'd like to submit something, then simply go to our website again, wandererspost.com, and fill in the contact us form on there, explaining some of your ideas of what you would like to submit, and we'll have a conversation with you and take it from there. Apart from that, I'm enjoying having my evenings back and planning ahead. We're looking through some of the artists and writers we can see online that we really like, and we're trying to contact some of those to see whether they also would be willing to submit something to the magazine. I'm sure most of those that we contact will simply let that pass on by them, but hopefully there'll be one or two who'll be interested in submitting something to the magazine. We have had a couple of people already who have agreed to submit something to the magazine. So we do have enough content for the first one, but we want to make sure we get the best content we possibly can. So even if you're not someone who's had something published before, either an art piece or a short story, but you'd like to give it a go, do get in contact with us using that contact form on our website. Now, in these vlogs, as well as giving you a progress update on the project so far, I would also like to talk a little bit about the ideas behind it, what we're trying to achieve. Now, if you've got a question or a comment, just put it down below this video, wherever you're watching, and I'll take a look and maybe answer it in the next one. But for now, I want to ask this question. Are we here at the Wanderers Post, are we somehow anti-tech? Maybe that's the impression that you've had from watching our launch video. The first scene, after all, has a gigantic mobile phone beeping away, sending data out, and a man comes on and presses pause. Are we trying to say that the best thing that we can do, what we should be aiming to achieve, is unplug the internet, switch off our mobile devices, switch off our computers, and go back to life before the internet came into our lives? Well, at this point, I'm not sure that's possible, at least not entirely. That Pandora's box, for better or worse, has been opened. But what we are saying is that we all need to have a conversation about getting balance back into our life. Balance between our time spent online and our time spent offline. I, for one, have had times in my life where almost my entire day has been spent looking at a screen, both when I'm working and when I'm playing. And I just don't think that's healthy or good. And so part of what we're trying to achieve is to provide a product which you can easily use as a break, as a disconnect for a few moments in your day from the online world. Well, that's it for now. Don't forget to go to the Wanderers Post and subscribe to the magazine when you're ready. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.